Everyone, welcome back. Today I am going to do a full face of Bobbi Brown makeup. I have a lot of Bobbi Brown products in my collection. I started collecting them about 2 years ago and it's a very expensive brand, so it took me a while to collect a lot so that I could do a full face of Bobbi Brown for you guys. I really like how this look turned out to be. I wear Bobbi Brown makeup almost every day, most of these products, and whenever I want to look quite elegant and classic, minimal, this is the look I always go for, and I really like it. I hope you will like it, and let's start. I'm starting with my trusty Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched face base. So the first thing Bobbi Brown always does is applying corrector right after the moisturizer. So the moisturizer I used has moisturizer and primer in it. So it's very easy for me, and you know I don't believe in primers, so that's like the best product for me. The corrector and concealer, however, I have some concerns. I feel like you have to bake these products. So this is the corrector. I feel like these are too thick to just set with pressed powder. I don't know, we'll see how it works today. Sometimes it works for me, but most of the time I feel like I have to bake it. So the shade I'm using is Peach, and putting this on my dark circles. As you can see, I have pretty severe dark circles. But it does, as you can see, cancel out the dark circles quite fast, and it does not look, you know, too orange or anything. That's another thing I want to tell you. Like, I've seen people on YouTube, on Instagram, putting very orange looking color correctors, and sometimes they even put like orange and red lipsticks. Don't do that. Your color corrector should look like this once it's applied. I also have some darkness here. I think a lot of Sri Lankans have this, a lot of South Asians have it. So I'll put a little bit here. Don't put too much on your smile lines because you are going to crease a lot here. So I have some redness around my nose. This little blemish here. It's not completely covered. We're going to put some concealer over it. So next I'm going to use the concealer. So I was matched to Warm Natural, and this is the concealer, and here you have the setting powder, which I'm not very happy about. I like to just go over the concealed area and just tap it. It's the same brush. There's a thin layer on top of the corrector. So this brightens the under eye. When you're working with thick cream concealers like this, make sure that you use a beauty blender or the tip of your finger to really push that product in. So right now it looks fine, but as soon as I put this powder, it just starts to crease a lot. I still have a lot of unevenness in my skin. We're just beginning, you know. This is the way Bobbi Brown does makeup. She conceals first and then she puts the foundation. Sometimes I put foundation first and then I use the concealer. Whatever works for you, it's fine. So this is the foundation they recommended for me. This is the Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear Weightless foundation, and my shade is Warm Natural. I'm very happy with my shade match from the website. It's like an exact match. And here is the full coverage brush from Bobbi Brown. This brush is very expensive, but it does a really amazing job. Like, I'm hooked. So I will first stamp some foundation all on my face. I can see my concealer is creasing already, but I'm not going to set it yet because I have to finish all the liquid and cream products, and then I can move to the powders. I love that the foundation does not have any fragrance in it. It has a very impressive coverage, as you can see. Might look too light for me, but it dulls down to my skin tone in a bit. I believe that's the case with a lot of full coverage foundations. They have a lot of pigment in it, so what happens is it tends to get a little oxidized. I heard that's the case with the new Charlotte Tilbury foundation. I still haven't got it. I'm a little, I don't know, I'm a little disappointed with Charlotte's services. Like, I won this foundation about 3-4 weeks ago, almost a month now. Last week they said there has been a delivery delay and they will send it this week, but I still haven't got an email or anything. Right, so I also got this set. I think this is available on Look Fantastic. This is a set, so it has a contour stick, a highlight stick, and the full coverage brush. So that's how I got this brush. I was not going to spend $50 on that brush. So Bobbi Brown, the person, Bobbi Brown who started the brand, does not believe in contouring. She hates it. And I'm sorry about the dog barking in the background. It always does that whenever I do a video. I think that now that Bobbi Brown has left the company, they are at a little bit of liberty to do whatever they want, but they say it's Define and Glow kit. So this set was sold as Define and Glow. So let's not use the word contour as respect to Miss Brown, and I'm going to use the Define stick, which is actually a foundation stick. This foundation stick, I believe, is one of Bobbi Brown's best sellers, and I think this is how she gained fame too. The brand built around this foundation stick and the first 10 lipsticks they released. And I really love this foundation stick because it blends so well. It's quite pigmented, you will see, and you will actually get a shock at first because it's very dark. Don't worry, it blends so well. Let me show you. So I'm using my full coverage face brush and I'm just doing a stippling motion here. Still very, very extreme. So whatever is left on the brush, what I'm doing is I'm just transferring some of the product to my forehead from here. So I'm blending. While I'm blending, whatever comes to the brush, I'm putting it on my forehead to sort of define the forehead contour. As I am blending it, I can see that it's looking more and more natural. So again, I'm putting this right here. These earrings, by the way, are from Swarovski. I got them from the sale. It was like 50% off. Looks a lot more natural. There you go. It's very, very easy. So this cream contour and highlight, I do not recommend if you have very oily skin. If you live in a very hot, humid place like Sri Lanka, I don't recommend this for every day. I personally like it because I have very dry skin, so even for daily wear this is okay for me, and most of the time I am indoors. I hardly go outside, and even if I do, I'm always in an air-conditioned areas. In case you have very oily skin, I would say just skip the contour, the cream contour and cream highlight part. We have the glow stick. This is so beautiful, you guys. It has a little bit of a tint to it and it's just so pretty. I love it. It's like, it gives you the most beautiful, like, glossy effect, and recently I'm loving this glossy effect, glossy highlight as opposed to shimmery highlights. So I wear this almost every day. I must check if this product is available individually because I am gonna stock up. If it's not, might buy this set again and again and keep a stock. Right, so typically you are supposed to set your under eye with this powder, but I've had my lesson with this powder. It creases a lot. Trust me on that, it creases a lot. So I'm actually going to bake my under eyes. That's the only way my under eyes will not crease. I don't know, maybe it's because of my age. You know, I'm 30 and maybe that's why I have to keep baking, because I didn't have to bake in the past. Now I have to. So I believe that you all know how to bake. If you don't know, I have a video. I'll put the link. We'll do this off the camera because I don't want to put in another brand since it's a full face of Bobbi Brown. Just so you know, do not use that powder in that concealer little kit. They do have a loose powder. I don't have it yet. Maybe once I finish my other loose powders, I'll buy it, but it's very expensive. I'll be right back. Okay, just put some loose powder. I don't have a brush. I actually had a brush from Bobbi Brown, I didn't know how expensive it was. I'm pretty sure I threw it without knowing the value of it. So they have this face blender brush which you can use for powders, you know, setting powders, blush, bronze, anything. It's quite multitasking, so I think it's worth the price, but I don't have it with me unfortunately, so I have to use my BH Cosmetics really cheap brush that came in this Poolside Chic set, and I'm going to be using, this is called the Nude Finish Illuminating Powder. Again, this is best for dry skin. If you have oily skin, I think they have a pressed version. So I'm just lightly putting this all over my face. It does not dial down that highlight. I'm also gonna remove that baking very gently. I actually love this powder. I think this powder is really beautiful, but it's quite pricey, so I believe that the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish is a slightly more affordable version of this. So I believe that baking actually helps with the concealer, and the concealer looks quite natural. It doesn't look too bright, and it's not caking, thankfully. And now we're going to bronze the face. So I love their bronzer. So this is the bronzing powder, and the shade is Golden Light. I love this bronzer. It gives you a very realistic bronzed look. And again, I'm using a very soft brush, another one from BH Cosmetics. I like to use a very fluffy brush to apply bronzer. So where the sun would naturally hit you, it's kind of pigmented, but it's not like, oh my gosh, that's so pigmented. You know, sometimes I kind of hate it when YouTubers say, oh my gosh, that's so pigmented. Like, some products don't have to be pigmented, too pigmented. Like blush, bronzer, they should not be too pigmented. They are the products you have to, you know, layer on so that it kind of builds up. So if a bronzer or a blush is like, oh my god, so pigmented, you're gonna have a hard time blending that. So I really like the fact that this is not so pigmented. It's just the right amount of pigmentation here. Very natural. I can see that my face kind of matches to my neck. Okay, now we'll put some blush. So honestly, Bobbi Brown blush is hands down my favorite blush today. I don't know, I thought it was MAC Melba, but no, it's this one. So this looks very intimidating. It has a bit of lilac in it. It has like it's like a bright pop of pink with a hint of lilac. It's a cool tone blush, but I love it because it stays quite long on my face. It's the most long lasting blush I have, and it actually gives you a very natural look, even though it looks quite artificial here. And I like to put this with my trusty Real Techniques blush brush. Again, not too pigmented, just the right amount of pigmentation, and you can see it gives a very nice flushed look. I actually love wearing this blush, especially for like everyday. It's so beautiful. And you can see that stick highlight is showing through the blush, and that's perfect. So Bobbi is also famous for her highlighters. I have a couple of shimmer bricks, but one of them broke, so I'm not going to show you that. But these shimmer bricks are actually really cool, and they are very beautiful. So I have this one. This is Rose. Generally I don't put shimmer highlighters these days, but I feel like I'll just do it for the demonstration purpose. So I like to mix all the colors. I'm using Real Techniques small fan brush, and watch this. It's so pretty, you guys, and it complements that blush shade. It does not look like you're wearing shimmery highlighter. It looks very glowy, looks very dewy, and that's this highlighter. So pretty. So for my eyes, before I do anything, I like to do my eyebrows because that really makes a huge difference. They do have a brow styler, but I think again it's extremely expensive. So I'm going to use a shadow. This is actually the Taupe shadow. I will talk about this in a bit. It's like a nice soft brown. I was going to order the darker shade, but I think it was out of stock. And I would like to softly just fill the gaps. As you can see, this shade also does the job for me. I don't like very dark brows, but if you have darker brows, you can use the eyeshadow Mahogany. So eyebrows are done. Next we have to do eyeshadow. So before that, I actually want to contour my nose a little. define. I'm going to define my nose a little bit. I'm going to use this brush number 8 from BH Cosmetics, and taking the bronzer, the powder bronzer, I will just define my nose a little bit. Very lightly. Again, a plus side of the bronzer not being too pigmented, you can contour with this. So for my eyeshadow, I'm actually going to use this one. I have 2 single eyeshadows. They have a lot of palettes, but I believe I'm actually done buying eyeshadow palettes. I feel like there are a few shades that I might use, and rest of the palette I don't even use. So I actually bought singles. So these are actually best-selling singles. And this one is Bone number 2, and this is Taupe number 4. I'm going to put the Bone eyeshadow. I'm taking it with a fluffy brush, the same brush. And then to define a little bit more, I'm going to use Taupe again. I think this is such a perfect color for the crease. I'm putting this on the crease. 3 more steps to go. I'm going to use the Bobbi Brown gel liner. I think she's the one who started gel liners, kind of revolutionized the makeup industry. I'm using a Bobbi Brown ultra fine liner. Again, I got this in a set. I believe if you want to get a brush, just go for a set. So I'm just doing the usual eyeliner I do. This brush is not my favorite brush, and this gel liner is honestly not my favorite gel liner, but it's good. I just prefer my Inglot number 77 gel liner. If you don't want crazy black liner, I think this is a good one. Next, I'm going to take my favorite mascara from Bobbi Brown. This is the Smokey Eye Mascara. It's really awesome. I've had about 3 or 4 of these. They are so good. So it's a great everyday mascara that I really like. Okay, so last few things. I don't have any of the lip liners. I have enough lip liners from MAC, so I did not buy them. And I have enough of all of these, but yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. But I felt like I don't wear lip liner that much, but I do love their lipsticks. So I have 4 lipsticks, and I love their lip formula on all of these. So 3 different types of lipsticks. I also do some swatches for you. So this is the Luxe matte lip color in Razzberry. It's matte and it's just so beautiful. Every time I wear this color, I get so much of compliments. It's very bright. It's a medium sort of berry pink. And then I have brown. Again, I wear this lip color almost every day. I feel like it's a nice, very sort of 90s sort of lip. It looks more pink here, but on my lips, it looks a little bit more brown. And it's very hydrating. It's like a satin lip color. It's not matte. And then this is Sandwash Pink. It's the first Bobbi Brown lipstick I bought. I think it also came in a set. So this is a lighter pink, and that's Sandwash Pink. And lastly, I have this one. This is Juicy Date. Oh my god, this is so beautiful. So that is Juicy Date. I'm gonna put Juicy Date. Just directly put it on my lips. So on the downside is, since it's a glossy formula, it's not exactly a gloss, it's like a creamy liquid lipstick. You might have to reapply it throughout the day. I don't mind it because it's so hydrating, it's so comfortable. This one, the Luxe matte lip color, it's really a matte, but it's not a drying matte, still a very comfortable matte. Now this one stays throughout the day. You don't have to reapply. It's so beautiful. I love it. Anyway, I like all the lip colors that I have from Bobbi Brown. I feel like it's a very everyday, it's a very simple, very elegant, classic makeup look. This is very classic Bobbi Brown. So I hope you like it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you soon.